Hey Rhaegar the Dragonborn, this is a response to your video about where we draw the line. Let me start off by giving you a little bit of my gaming background. I've played a number of very dark games, from your typical horror games to things like My Life with Master, where you play minions of an evil master, and it is actually a game about abusive relationships. On Friday just past, I ran Kill Puppies for Satan. However, I'd say the most difficult character I've ever played came from Kagematsu, where I had to play, and I played this twice, a female villager in a feudal Japanese setting. So not only cross-gender, but a character with no real power in the world, because it's a very patriarchal setting. But you want to know what I wouldn't play. I wouldn't play any character who, by playing that character, I make the game less fun for the people around me. Now, that's not to say that I'm not going to play a character who doesn't ruin the day of the other players. After all, Fiasco is full of that. I've had great scenes in Fiasco where one of the other player characters is bleeding out in front of mine, and I had a great conversation about what a huge idiot they were for getting in that situation in the first place, and then walked away. But that was a scene that was more fun for both myself and the other player, and everybody else at the table. The main point is, I don't want to ruin the experience of the other players. I have, in my travels, come across a few games that I probably would never play. An example is a game called A Flower for Mara, and it revolves around a funeral. And one of the aspects of the game is that the players involved at a certain point will talk about their own, as players, their own personal regrets. Now, if that sounds a little bit like a very terrifying version of group therapy, it probably is. But it definitely could teach you a lot, and it's certainly a game that has what people would call a weak frame. So you would emotionally feel closer to your character in that sense, because you are having a moment where you are being very open, just as a character who is at, say, a funeral would as well. Another game that I probably would never play, and I've never done the LARP thing before, but I'm still going to use one as an example. This one is a Finnish LARP. It is called Gang Rape. And yes, that's what it's about. There's no physical contact, but everything I've read about it, it is designed to create a very intensely emotional situation. And the reports I've read from people who have experienced this game say that a lot of them have had breakdowns, like crying during the event, etc. And in some cases, it has altered their view of how they saw sex crimes after playing this game, simply because now they have an emotional experience that they can now associate with what they read in the newspaper. Now, both of these games certainly have a lot of value to them. They can certainly teach us a lot and really push our boundaries as role players, but even myself, I may not be ever willing to go quite that far. Anyway, excellent question. Thank you very much.